In 2016, ISS, we've done well. I think overall on the financial metrics, we've hit all the targets. So we have an organic growth of 3.4%. We have a margin that's again this year is up by 7 basis points, so now 5.77 or 5.8% margin. Cash conversion again come in 98%. So all of that's fine. Very good results from a financial perspective. But more importantly, all the underlying drivers are also coming with it. So our emphasis into integrated facility services, of course, led to, again, this year, a growth of, I think, around 14% year over year. So now 37% of our business is within integrated facility services. The global corporate clients have continued to increase. So here again, we've had more than double-digit organic growth in the year. So now representing around 11% of our business is the global corporate clients. Underneath that, our employee engagement's gone up, our customer engagement gone up. So overall, I can only say that it's been a very good year for ISS in 2016. Satisfied with all of the key measures. ISS in 2016 has had an organic growth of 3.4%. That means, of course, that we should increase our revenue. But when you look at the top line numbers, it actually stays flat with the year before. There are a couple of reasons behind that, quite logical ones, because we do report our revenue in Danish kroner. And as Danish kroner is a very strong currency at the moment, then when we translate all of our countries into Danish kroner, then of course that converts to a lower number than if the currency was weak. So that actually has had an impact over 2015 to 2016 of around 2.4 billion Danish kroner impact negative. Apart from that, we've been selling off a few businesses, again, to make sure that we get a sharper profile. We want to be a company focused on key accounts and on integrated facility services, and all of the services that we have available, whether it's technical, catering, cleaning, and so forth, of course, has to be focusing on delivering those services. With that, we sold off a couple of businesses which didn't belong to that, and that had an impact around 400 million. So if you add those numbers together, you get close to 3 billion kroner, which has been lowering the revenue in Danish kroner in 2016 compared to 2015. Most importantly, underlying organic growth actually is positive, 3.4, and over time, of course, that's the growth that will come through also on the top line. I think it is still too early to say what Brexit will mean to any business, for that matter, in the UK or outside UK. Clearly, there will be some impact over time. In the short term, we have not seen any impact on our UK business. It's still a very important part of our business, and they've done very well in 2016. Good organic growth, good new contracts wins with Royal Mail and Hitachi Rail. Hotel industry has gone well, and the education sector is really growing well. So overall, we're doing very well indeed. And the pipeline also looks strong. So the short-term impact on the UK business, there's been no major impact other than we're doing well. Mid-term, long-term, we will have to see. Of course, there's a lot of debate and discussions, and some customers will be sitting a little bit on the fence, particularly within the banking sector, of whether we should move out of the UK or not. But as I said, we have the opportunity to follow the banks to other countries, and most of those banks are global contracts anyway. So overall, I don't see a major impact on our business in the short term. Mid-term, long-term, we will all have to wait and see what it means. I think the world right now sees some macroeconomic uncertainties, that's for sure. Having said that, I see some positive trends right now. I think there is growth coming back into many economies. And I also see some interest rate coming in that goes up, which is also positive. But overall, of course, the political arena is a little bit of a turmoil, I think, and we don't know exactly what that means. But whatever it means, from an ISS perspective, we are present in almost 90% of the world's GDP, and that means in more than 50 countries. And we can pick businesses up country by country, wherever it ends up from that matter. So from that perspective, we are, of course, not immune to macroeconomic development, but we're definitely resilient. And I think, if anything, I can see some upsides in it from a business like ours, because we can help the businesses become even more efficient. I'm very pleased to say that we have won a major contract with the biotech company Shire. This is about providing services to around 40 countries in the Shire organization. And it's a great example of where we had a relationship a long time in a couple of countries already. So we've taken a local contract to a global contract. We've taken a multi-service contract to an integrated facility services contract based on some outcomes that we've agreed with the client. And all of this has actually taken the contract to a 12 times size of what it was before. So all in all, very happy with that. And it's one of our new global corporate contracts. So we now have 11 of those in the world. For 2017, the outlook for ISS is good. I think we have a good opportunity to grow again organically again in 2017. We come out of 2016 with good growth of 3.4%. And we start the year, of course, with a little bit of headwind from losing the contracts in Australia. So the first 2 quarters, that's going to have an impact. Brazil, where we exited some contracts, and Greece for that matter. We also won a number of good contracts that will ramp up during the year. So our growth will start slower and then end up higher during the year. And that's, of course, one of the reasons why we give a little bit of a range in our outlook forecast. But overall, I'm positive about 2017. We just got to leave a little bit of lee room because it is early in the year to predict exactly where we're going to end up. In 2017, of course, we're going to follow the ISS way strategy as we've done for a long period of time. We've come a long way in transforming our company into a company that can put the customer in the center and deliver everything that they want, which is, of course, one-stop shopping, consistency, transparency, compliance, and, of course, efficiency, and thereby also save some money. The specific focus areas for this year is, of course, to make sure that the investment we made into technology through the IBM agreement actually starts being implemented on site. Apart from that, workplace management is becoming more and more important to us. How to design workplaces that are much more efficient, much more engaging for either customers or the customer's customers to be in. That's why we made an acquisition now of Signal early this year. And of course, it's about rolling those capabilities out. And lastly, of course, it's all about delivering on the sort of the low-key things. So that means procurement benefits, the benchmark tools that we have in order for us to become more and more efficient while we, of course, get better and better educated employees across the world. The acquisition of Signal is clearly a symbol of where we're taking ISS and where we have been taking ISS for a long time. We now are in the position where we can advise and help our clients to implement better ways of working at their workplaces. Not just for the employees, but also workplaces where the customers actually have even better ways of being engaged. So that's the sweet spot that we have placed ourselves in over the last many years by having that key account approach that we have. Signal is a company that knows about new ways of working. It's a company that can help lay out the offices, lay out all kinds of production areas in a much smarter way that at one end will give lower cost, i.e. fewer square meters for more people, but at the same time actually create higher engagement and thereby higher efficiency, higher value for the clients as well as for the people in the buildings. That is the reason why we have acquired Signal, and we now need to roll that capability out, of course, to the entire world. It is something that is part of our future strategy of ISS. The results that we have achieved over the last few years can only be done because we have such an engaged workforce. So I would just like to say thank you to our almost 500,000 colleagues around the world for actually delivering the very good results that we did for 2016. On the people and talent front, I think we're doing very well indeed. I think over the last few years we created some great programs. And why do we do that? We do that, of course, to get better leaders and get better capabilities on the front line. So the Service with the Human Touch program is being rolled out. We all know that in all countries that we have. The Apple program, where we reward the behavior of anybody, basically, in ISS to understand what the customer needs are and what our needs are. And I think the key account management training, of course, makes better leadership on sites, understanding customers better, and of course also understanding our employees better and thereby delivering better services. All of this, of course, should also end up in a better engagement from our employees. And we do an annual review of that by the Employee Engagement Score. And that actually ended up with, again, for the 4th year in a row, An even better NPS score now at 59.2, which is really world-class. 240,000 people participate in this program, so I'm very, very happy with that development. So we just got to keep on developing, making the programs. So, for example, working more with the leadership competences that we have across. What exactly is it that we can expect from our leaders? What should we be doing and what should we not do so much of? And that is key for our future.